At the very heart of the Jethro model is relationships. It's the middle of the whole model, and it really is important. When God gave Moses his instructions to lead the people to the promised land, Moses didn't have a choice. Okay, do I get this mission done at all costs? Doesn't matter about people. Or do I just care for people and I'm not going to worry so much about the mission? The task that God gave him was to care for people while the mission was being fulfilled. And as a leader, that's the tension that we live in. It's an important tension to understand that caring for people really matters. That yes, we are to fulfill the mission that God has given us, but to love people and care for people as we do it. In fact, if you remember, Jethro said to Moses, the benefit of the whole model really was a pastoral care benefit, that leaders won't burn out and that people will actually have their needs met and people will actually be cared for. So in the chapter on relationships, I talk about some of the very important foundational things that you need to do as a leader to ensure that your team is relating well and that you are caring for people on the mission. One of the main themes I talk about in that chapter is communication. It's a massive challenge for every leader to know not only how to communicate well, but also how to make sure that information is understood by the people that are receiving it, such that even they can pass it on to others at the same time. So in the chapter I spend a fair bit of time actually talking about communication, and I actually give a bit of advice based on my own experience, things I've done wrong and had to learn from. Advice on how to communicate weekly, monthly, annually as well, and also how to communicate just when those stories suddenly pop up and you can just really quickly get the word out about what God's done in a particular situation. So if you're an emerging leader, I think the teaching on communication, particularly if you follow through the practical steps that I give you there, will really help you become a great leader who communicates really well. The other challenge for every leader is building a sense of team. And I think that this is something that you learn a little bit as you go, but it certainly helps to have some startup advice, and that's really what I give, on how to bring probably a diverse group of people together. People that may not have known each other before joining your team, people who've got different personalities and all those sorts of things. I give you a little bit of advice on how to start the process of taking this group of individuals who all have different roles and melding them into a really effective team going forward. One of the things that we know about God is that God is highly, highly relational. He's a personal God. And his heart for relationships has to be reflected in the heart of your team. And one of the points I make in the book is that the heart of the team is actually the strength of the team. If your team has one heart and one purpose, it will not only increase the opportunities that you have for success in your mission, but it'll also help people have a lot of fun doing it, loving each other and enjoying each other's company at the same time. I love what Jesus said to his disciples. He said, as he was leaving this world in John 14, he said, look, I'm going now, but I'm going to prepare a place for you so that we can be together and be together forever. And I love that teaching of Jesus, because it reflects the reality that he just doesn't put up with people, but he actually really loves people and just loved to hang out with those 12 disciples during his ministry years. So as Jesus brought together a very different group of people, if you study the backgrounds of the disciples, they were wildly different personality types and backgrounds, but he brought them together as a team. You have that same challenge in front of you, and it's a challenge that has a lot of reward as you relate to your team really well, and as your team relates to each other really well as they serve and work and love the people that you're trying to reach. So check out the chapter on relationships. It's the heart of the model, and I think it'll really help you become even better at being a leader.